Hello, thanks for tuning in, and I'm delighted to have you here. Today, I'm talking about breaking the fear barrier. Breaking the fear barrier. So many people are stuck because of fear. They are stuck in jobs that they don't want, they are stuck in relationships that are no longer serving them, and so many other areas of being stuck. Now, what is interesting is that fear can actually destroy companies, and fear can crush and break people's spirits. So, when fear is not managed, it can actually become a liability. It can cost you your dreams, it can cost you performance, it can cost you relationships. So often people, because of fear, they become reactive and it costs them their relationships. So fear can kill enthusiasm and energy. So if you're wanting to start out to follow your dream, to pursue your purpose, I remember one time I was in training and one guy says, my wife is so talented. She wants to start her own business, but she is so afraid to jump out of the corporate world. So with fear, it can actually thwart enthusiasm. Now, we need to understand that fear is an emotion, and if we manage it as an emotion, we can actually use it as fuel, right? If we don't manage it, fear destroys success. But if you're fearless, you're unstoppable. We all have fears, so all of us have got fears, right? So if we manage it well, fear can actually, if we don't manage it well, fear can stand between success and failure. So some people who have failed is not because they didn't have the potential, the skill, or the talent. Remember, knowledge is only potential power. If you don't put it into action, no matter how knowledgeable you are, it doesn't actually give you results. So if you don't manage your fear, you can have all the knowledge, but it won't actually allow you to take action. So in organizations, even you find managers creating rules and policies because of fear, and they're becoming territorial, and people operate with silo mentality, and even some become parochial. Why? Because of fear. People become protective. Fear is a protective emotion. We are wired to seek safety first, which means we want to protect ourselves from external dangers. Now, what we need to understand is that often we need to protect ourselves from physical dangers. If you look at our ancestors, they lived in the natural environment, so their dangers were real. While they were wired for safety, their dangers were real. They would see a lion, they would see, a bear, they would see, a dangerous animal, and their fear would kick in to prepare them to either run away or stay and fight. So fear is a protective emotion. But now look at us, the environment that we live in. We are fairly safe, but a lot of our fears are actually psychologically triggered, which means our fears are triggered by our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs, and those things are manageable. We can manage them if we manage our thoughts, if we manage our beliefs, if we manage our emotions, which means the inner disturbance. So you'll be scared from outside because of the thought, because of what's going on around you. But if you can manage that inner disturbance, you can actually use your fear as an asset, right? So because we're wired to seek safety first, often when we actually are fearful, it's because you are thinking the environment you are in, the thoughts you are having, the emotions you have, or the beliefs, which is your reference point you have, are actually triggering fear. So we need to understand that when we manage our reactivity, see, when you have an inner disturbance, what often happens is that you actually become reactive. So you are fearful, then you act because of fear to try and protect yourself. And sometimes it's saying something that's regrettable. It's inaction. So remember, emotions are there to drive us to action or inaction. So sometimes, a lot of the times, people are paralyzed by their own fear. So your fear drives you to inaction. You freeze instead of taking action or moving forward. So we need to create the inner resources to actually manage our fear. And what often happens is when we are fearful, it means the demand, whatever it is we are thinking, whatever it is that is triggering the fear, we are perceiving it to be bigger than our resources, right? So the demand is perceived to be bigger than your resources, and your resources are your what? Your mindset, right? Your skill set and your action set. If your mindset was right, you wouldn't be afraid about the situation that is triggering fear. And if you were having enough skill to manage what's going on, you also wouldn't be fearful. And if you were able to take action to rectify whatever it is that's causing fear, you also wouldn't be afraid. So often, fear is triggered by the fact that we think the demand is actually bigger than our than our inner resources. Okay, the demand is bigger than our resources, and the resources is your mindset, your skill set, and your action set. But now we can manage that. We can change our mindset, and we can increase, if there's need to increase our skill set. And once we have our skill set and mindset right, our action set is also set in place. So we can now take action to prevent whatever it is that we are afraid of. So what can we do to manage fear? I'm just going to talk about 3 things. There's more that we can talk about to manage fear, but I'm just going to talk about 3 things. Name it to tame it. So often when we are fearful, we are not even aware that we are fearful. So when you are afraid, when you have fear, name the fact that you're afraid. Acknowledge that you're afraid. Afraid of losing a relationship, afraid of getting hurt, afraid of whatever it is that you have. We've got about 50 fears. Okay, afraid of loss. Acknowledge what it is that you have. Afraid of not being good enough. Acknowledge what your fear is. Name it. When you name it, you can tame it. Because now when you know that you're afraid of, loss, then you start saying, how can I prevent it from happening? How can I prevent loss from happening? How can I increase my skill set so that I can take the necessary action? So when you name it, you are not reacting. You are aware of what's going on. And again, when you name it, allow yourself to release the emotion. So feel the fear and allow it to move through your body. Understand the meaning of emotion from the Latin word emovere. It means move through and out, which means we are not supposed to hold on to our emotions. We're supposed to allow them to move through and out. So feel your fear and then name it and then allow it to move through and out. So release the emotion. Don't hold on to it. Just acknowledge where in your body it is. Where do you feel your fear? And then allow it to move through and out. So you've got name it to tame it, release it, and then the third issue is reappraise the fear. Reappraise the fear. What is the meaning? Because the meaning determines whether fear continues or it doesn't. Is for you fear a bad thing or is it a good thing? Because all emotions save us. They are information. So when you are afraid, it's showing you what you need to pay attention to. So all emotions are assets. They can actually fuel us to do what we need to get done. So how do you view your fear? Is it bad or is it good? Because the moment you view it as bad, then it actually gets in the way. But the moment you view it as it's good, it's an asset, it's information. How can I use this information to save me? So you can use your fear as information. Now, for us to actually have an emotion, we've got an underlying belief, which is a reference point. There's a reference point that is allowing us to give meaning to the event that's going on that then triggers the emotion. So now sometimes you need to actually reappraise the event, which is reframe, give it a new meaning. Like we've just reframed now the emotion to say the emotion is an asset. It's saving us. It's information. It's fuel. It's energy we need to get things done. Okay, how can we further rephrase or reappraise the emotion? Now, let me give you an example, right? So, for me to pursue my dreams, someone would say, there are a lot of people who want to pursue their dreams and they're afraid to do that. Okay, they're afraid of losing their income, the security of an income. They're afraid of so many things: fear of loss, fear of failure, and fear of not being good enough. Now, to use fear as a fuel, you can either put fear in front of you, which means it blocks you, or you can put fear in behind you. When you put fear behind you, it propels you, it moves you forward instead of blocking you when you put it in front of you, right? So frontal fear blocks you, but rear fear must be able to push you forward. So think about it. If you grow up in a place where there was poverty. Most people who grew up in poverty, and they learned to work hard, they just want to work hard. They don't want to go back to that poverty. So their fear of poverty can actually fuel them to actually become successful in their life, right? So if I look at my own personal example, okay, what is it that I don't want in my life? What is it that I don't want in my life, right? I don't want to be the person who is going to regret. I don't want to be the person who's going to say, I should have, or if only. So I don't want to be the person who's going to regret, right? So what do? It means then I pursue my own dreams. I pursue my own dreams. I'm putting that fear behind me to propel me. I want to learn, to grow, to love deeply, to travel, to impact lives, and I don't want to regret not having done it. So my fear is behind me. I don't want to regret not having impacted lives. So I go out and I impact lives. I don't want to regret not having traveled. So I create opportunities to travel. I don't want to regret not having loved it deeply, right? So what do? I connect in relationships, and I do the best I can to grow my relationships, but also to do inner work to unblock myself from anything that can actually be, getting in the way for me to love deeply. Okay, so 3 things you can use to break the fear barrier is: name it to tame it, release it, don't hold on to it, let it go, right? Don't give it bed and breakfast, right? And then the third one is reappraise fear. What is the meaning of fear to you? It's a good thing. It's an asset. It's a fuel. Put it behind you to move you forward instead of in front of you to block you from moving forward. I hope this is helpful. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Break your fear barriers. Whatever your fear barriers are, let them not stop you, but let them fuel you to the next level. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mavis Ureke. Bye.